So, if there's one thing I like about being part of the Sonic fandom, besides the creativity I mentioned in a previous video, is the fact that fans will basically go out of the way and correct any mistakes or unnecessary changes that occurred in other Sonic media, whether it's in the animated adaptations or in the various comic book adaptations. A good example is 172, Fiona Fox's Betrayal, which is from the Archie Sonic series. And the reason a lot of fans will go out of the way to correct this, whether it's through SFM animations, little web comics, if you will, or even fan fiction, is because a lot of fans are in the majority that, outside of the positiveness of, hey, yeah, the betrayal helped her character develop into a more, I guess you could say, attitude, persona, personality, if you will, than before, and to some even made her harder than she was previously, that outside of that, the sudden betrayal just didn't make any sense. It's like the only clues we had that something was up was the fact that she was sneaking off when Sonic couldn't find her. It's like, where was she going? No one knew. And I even said to the point that you could have had her basically, go out, sneak off, if you will, and instead of meeting up with Scourge, as the excuse came to be, or the reasoning came to be, have her go to wherever Robotnik's headquarters is and basically gather up as much information as she can and then bring it back to the Freedom Fighters. That would have made more sense and a better explanation to her disappearance and why she was always avoiding Sonic, because obviously in story, she knows that Sonic, and by extension the others, would get on her for going on these missions solo without them backing her up. So basically, you could have done that and it would have made more sense. And a lot of fans agree with that. But when it came to the betrayal and the reasoning period, again, a lot of fans felt like it just, it's not justified. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, how does Fiona, out of all the other girls, in Knothole or in New Mobotropolis, how does she not know that, the Sonic that's flirting with all these women is not Sonic? How could she tell, but no one else can't? It didn't make any sense. So the betrayal and her sneaking off to meet, Scourge because of that, in the long run just didn't make sense. It just did not add up. And thus is why you see a lot of fans creatively saying, yeah, screw that, we're going to fix it. And they do. They do. For example, Chalvalis, or S. Chalvalis, as she's also known on DeviantArt, but Chalvalis here on YouTube, she did a webcomic that I alluded to earlier, where she basically has it take place years later. Tails is pretty much grown up, like in his late teens, early 20s. Fiona, makes a return. She's back in her one-piece white outfit. And she explains to Tails, hey, I've changed. I'm not the same anymore. And that, yes, what I did was wrong because I was young and I made stupid mistakes. And, what's crazy about this comic is that, you had fans actually dub it. Yeah, they did a little comic drama, radio drama, if you will, on it. And they did a great job. Music, voice acting, everything. But what that also tells me is you have Chalvalis and these fans that dubbed it basically in agreement that, yeah, this betrayal by Fiona did not make any sense. It was wrong. I mean, Chalvalis even though I think it's a commission, Chalvalis even does a little animation of Fiona doing the funny kiss to Tails. She does. She does one where she's doing the funny kiss to Tails, and obviously it's supposed to, take place either before the betrayal or after she's returned and redeemed herself and shown that, hey, I'm good again, or whatever the case is. But the point is, you have fans like her, you have fans that did the dub, you have fans at fanfiction.net and archiveofourown.org that have basically come out and said, look, this betrayal did not make sense. We're going to correct it. And they do correct it. Sometimes they correct it in a more, I guess you could say, NFSW, triple X ways, if you will, between Fiona and Tails. But still, they find a way to correct it. They really do. Sometimes, and my finger just hit the mic there, I do apologize, and sometimes they do it through SFM animations. One animation basically has her warping through a warp ring onto, I think, Tails' island, where he's at, and she sees him flying the tornado, but obviously you could tell just by the way it's presented, it's supposed to take place after Scourge lockdown, and apparently instead of, I guess, allowing her to follow through with them to whatever destination they were going in, Fiona ends up getting lost, and teleporting to the island. And when nobody, gets in contact with her, apparently, or even has the, bother to say, hey, I got to go back and find her, with Fiona, she decides to, I guess, realize, she had it better when she was one of the good guys and decides to go make friends with Tails and the others. But what's interesting is this is not the same Tails that she encountered. This is a different Tails. This is a different Sonic as far as we know. As far as we know, it could be the same, but we don't know. Because it's not finished completely. If it is, let me know if it is finished. But the point is, you got people going out of the way doing that. You got people going out of the way, like I said, with like Chavlis and these people that dubbed her little webcomic going out of the way there. You got the fan fictions. It's like everybody is unanimously in agreement that the Fiona turn did not make any freaking sense. Not a lick bit of sense. It didn't. Which is why, again, why being part of the Sonic fandom, I like the fact that fans will go out and basically say, Ian, Ken, Carl, you're great writers, but some of the ideas you come up with are dumb, stupid, don't make sense, and we're going to show you, how they make sense in the way we believe you should have gone with them. Or we're going to take what you did, we're going to let what you've done slide, but we're going to correct it to make it go in the direction we know it should have gone in the first place. And that's all about it. But yeah, fans will basically take the opportunity if they see something that doesn't make sense, from a storyline logic perspective, and they will say, okay, screw that, we're going to correct it, and they do. They end up correcting it, and sometimes making it turn out better than, the original idea was in the first place. And that's me being truthful with you. Sometimes these ideas are more sensible in the end, by getting Fiona and making her redeem herself, turning her good again. They make more sense, than like I said, the original idea to have her turn and what came afterwards. I mean, yes, a lot of people will agree that her character development, her getting a stronger personality and attitude, was probably the only benefit, that came out of it. But outside of it, what sense did it make? What sense did it make? Then what? Having another female to, basically oppose the freedom fighters? It just did not make any lick of sense. It didn't. And again, in the end, in closing, this is why I like being part of the fandom, because they do correct stuff that, let's be honest, even the writers, I think, when they look back on it, realize, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best idea to go with. So yeah, this is why I like being part of the fandom, because of things like this. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with me that being part of fans basically taking the opportunity to correct, things like the Fiona turn are one of the best aspects of being part of the fandom? Let me know down below in the comment section, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. You will get a audio podcast version of this at BW Rose's Discussions Podcast, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also, check me out at my Teespring store, which you can click on the upper left-hand corner of the end screen here. Also, check out 2 of the related videos I talked about I think you'll get a kick out of them in the upper right-hand corner and bottom left-hand corner of the screen, the end screen that is. Also, support me at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else. Support me at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and Cash App at BW Roses 98, to help me financially there to grow the channel. Also, support me at patreon.com/BW Roses with a $1, $3 tier. Also, support me at divanart.com/BVW1979. But guys, give me your thoughts overall, and until next time, I am out.